Shuvendu, who was my boss when I started my career back 2 decades ago in Ernst & Young in climate change. So it's a pleasure to be sharing the stage with you and other leaders. In my broad thinking, I categorize climate action in two parts, as we all do. One is the clean energy mitigation. The second bit is adaptation, resilience, dealing with impacts of climate change. And here you're talking about all the sectors from agriculture, water, where various climate tech solutions are coming and helping us cope, and also green the economy. To start off the conversation, let me start with Ambassador Yacov. Did I butcher your name? Yeah. It's all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been Special Envoy for Climate for Israel. We've grown up hearing Israel as the beacon of frontier technology, innovation, whether it's irrigation, whether it's water services. Give us a sense of, from where you see climate tech, what is Israel doing and how best we can benefit the region, India, and what is the next journey?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. I'm delighted to be here after many years that I haven't been to Dubai, but to be here again and on this platform, which deals with something which I really believe in. I mean, I'm a career diplomat, and diplomats, they are diplomats, but sometimes they are telling the truth and the whole truth. And in this case, I believe in it because this is something that we are all undergoing and we are all suffering from it. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. Now, Israel, you can say, is the only country in the world that has solved its water problems. How is that? Because we have enough desalination centers which do it in a more sophisticated way, which reduces drastically the pollution of brine, also the cost of desalination, and we can provide actually up to 80% from the drink water that we consume. Having said that, we also sell water to Jordan and the Palestinian Authority because, again, neighborhood and everybody needs this to share the water. This is one aspect. The other aspect is water management. Minimal loss of water by maintaining the pipeline system. Number three, recycling. Israel recycles for agriculture purpose over 80% of its wastewater, which means that we are turning parts of the desert in the south into a fertile crescent. And you can say that still Israel is the only place in the world where desert is still receding, even though we are living in this challenging period. And I think that what we have, and of course the combination of sophisticated agriculture with satellite sensors and all this, can be shared everywhere. I think that to this extent, we have here a triangle because you have Israel, UAE, and India. UAE is virtually in the middle of the road between Israel and India, and it's more than only geography, because with the UAE vision and finance and the Arab desert, which can be used for solar and photovoltaic systems, which give you clean energy, plus the fact that you finance all the exchange of knowledge of water management, water waste, agriculture, which can not only create new water sources in India, but also improve the quality and quantity of food. And this is the best way to fight climate change, and everybody is benefiting. It's a win-win-win game.
Thank you. Thank you for highlighting the partnership with UAE as well. I'm reminded 3 years ago when we came here for the COP, Climate COP, there was a big global partnership which was launched on resilient agriculture and food initiative, which UAE led from the front. Let me with that shift gears a bit and invite Shuvendu. You've been leading the thinking in the Emirates on an undersea cable link, electricity connection between Middle East and India, where UAE could be the front runner on this side. Give us a sense of the complexity of the project, but also the opportunity it provides for energy transition and economic growth.
Thank you so much. And first, thank you so much. And for me also, it is being really pleasure to be with you over here, see you succeed. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think, we all coming on the energy planning side. So it is, the whole thing started off when we started, redesigning the EUA energy strategy. Like 2017 strategy was 50% renewable by 2050, but then we are mandated to go for net zero. Now, when you want to go for net zero, more and more renewable energy, your system needs more anchoring. So the point is that, and second of the thing is that, it is net zero or not. First thing is that you have to make your system resilient. Because if you lose electricity in the summer, here the economic loss is huge and there will be life losses. The point is you have to make system resilient, you have to make system zero, and also make system economically effective. So now cost of gas is increasing, cost of renewable is increasing, so we designed our energy mix. But that time we said we really need more and more interconnections to make systems stable. So one side we are connected with GCCIO, we are planning with the upgradation of the GCCIO interconnection. The second we found one is that necessity to connect with India so that we can connect to a grid which is almost 10 times larger than UAE. So we can get a necessity, inertia and other benefits. But plus, we are connected on the left-hand side GCCIS Saudi till potentially to the Europe. And the ASEAN grids, we thought this is the unique opportunity for UAE to be between these two countries and connect ASEAN to the Europe. So one side is the opportunity for connectivity, opportunity for the trade, and the opportunity for the stability. So these three things we evaluated, then we actually discussed about our opportunity, what we can provide India, provide this. So we submit a MOU, then agreement, now we are developing the feasibility. So that's there. Now complexity is that, yes, we do not know, we know that theoretically, the length, etc., but we do not know what is below 3,000 kilometers under the sea. And that's the biggest challenge. Rest of the things are yes, you have only 2 cable manufacturers in the world to do that. So there is a limitation, there is the first goers always have an issue. So those are the things, but we are, I think we identifying the problem, we are solving it. So we will not say complexity anymore until and unless we know it. Once we know it, we solve it, and then there is no more complex. So we have to execute that.
Thank you. Thanks for providing these details of gigawatts of capacity on both sides and helping meet India's peak load demand at reasonable prices coming from Middle East, and I would say there could be trade or electricity coming from the other side as well. And if we pull this off, I think this would be one of the mega projects connecting the two regions by far. This also links, of course, the bigger vision of IMAC, I2U2. So all the politicals, I think tapestry is there. We just have to now build the infrastructure and get on with it. With that, let me...
I'll just put one more minute. You know how the snowball effect happens. While we are discussing UAE-India submarine interconnection, then during the discussion in Ministry of Power, they started discussing with connecting East India to the Port Blair. When in one of the discussion, then we proposed that, okay, you are doing this Port Blair, let me connect Port Blair to Thailand. The moment I could Port Blair to Thailand, we are discussing now, not only discussing, 3 weeks back, TAGA signed an MOU with Singapore, so develop the interconnections. So, yeah, so one thing starts and other things come back. So it's a much more vision is happening.
Of course, and there is a lot of learning opportunity and economic wealth creation opportunity with this while solving for climate and energy. With that, let me invite Sir Junaid Altaf. You run a big conglomerate. You guys are also investing in agrogenetics, agrochemicals, and Ambassador talked about agriculture, water. You know, from a corporate perspective, give us a sense, are these ventures profitable? What I want to get to is, from a corporate perspective, is solving for climate also bringing you the balance sheet dividends you're looking for?
Well, thank you for that. I think the most important thing first to look at, farmer is the greatest entrepreneur. Sometimes as a corporate, you have to think like a farmer. The kind of resilience, adaptability, and change that the farming community has seen, especially in India, in the last 4 to 5 decades, I think it's mind-blowing. So I think the key to understanding any balance sheet metric at times is not solving for a short-term problem. It's solving for a systemic change. In India, obviously, we've seen great growth in terms of earlier we had a green revolution, then we had a hybrid revolution. Things are evolving, but can we evolve further? Will we evolve further? Yes. I think the key question to answer today while working in the agriculture industry is fundamentally to look at certain deficiencies in the system and the value creation therein. Now, what do I mean by deficiencies in the system? Water is going to be the most scarce commodity in the world going forward. We have to understand it. No prediction of weather models on water can work 100%. We are seeing this in India in the last 3 years in terms of the northern states. Last year, we had a cycle where there was, for almost 50 days, there was no rain. This year, we had cycles where in a single day, we've had rain for 25 days. Okay. So one is water deficiency from a groundwater level. Then another point is, you can almost call it water surplus at times from a rain perspective, and how to harness that. At the back of it, dealing with it at the farm level needs infrastructure, technology, and planning, is what I'm trying to get to. Infrastructure, because what worked 5 to 10 years ago will not necessarily work going forward. Heavily irrigated states at times work very well. States that depend on rain-fed irrigation doesn't work so well. Now, can we have a system where we have complete precision agriculture for a country as vast as India overnight? Perhaps not. Secondly, we have to look at horticulture and then cash crops separately. What I'm trying to say is, for any corporate, this is an evolving strategy, because at the end of the day, agriculture does depend on the vagaries of nature. We can plan in terms of a strategy, product, but the evolution and the life cycle will depend completely on how nature is turning out. So I think the key point to understand in terms when we work in terms of, let's call it balance sheet profitability, is can we compete or can we bring in global partnerships that help us expand the farm base quickly? Can we work with modern techniques yet with costs that work for the Indian agriculture farm? I think that is the most important thing, because the cost at which agriculture in each of, now within that, like I said, horticulture and cash crops are divided further. The third part of it, when we talk of gene pool varieties, I think there the legality is the most important part. Patent, IPR, then commercializing. So my belief is agriculture is a 5-decade endeavor. Your balance sheet cannot say how much work you do, or should not say how much work you do. But I think the value creation that is possible from a pure agriculture perspective and opportunity in India, each in terms of genetics, like I said, sustainability around water, and then definitely enhancing yields. I think it's a phenomenal opportunity, and just to put it, it's something that India can very well work with West Asia in terms of our shared understanding and our history in scaling multiple crops. Horticulture, we have seen horticulture production surpass crop production or cereal production for the first time in the last 2 years. That is a big, big one for a country where horticulture was barely 30-35% of cereal production just 10 years ago. So you see, so these are insights. Clearly, we are still learning with our global part, but I think today we are ready to share as well.
And that's music to my ears. You know, when we were looking at this challenge, the way we put it in three buckets. One is the input side innovation, whether it's seed, whether it's water, whether it's, you know, pesticide, you name it, we have to evolve there. The second bucket is practices. How would farmer adopt this and the economics of it? And if you take the lens of a smallholder farmer, they're always in debt. They're always at the mercy of the nature or government bailing them out at the end. So very thin margins to innovate. And third is any price signal from the buyers. You know, largest buyer is again government. But the private sector so far is not willing to put, I would say, a resilience premium. That if you change practice, if you give me naturally produced, I will give you a premium. I think the market signals are weak. So, you know, you talked about these partnerships and lessons learned. In your view, where is the brightest spark you see where there's a lot happening and we could talk more about it so that people get aware? Just give us one or two examples to make it very real for the audience.
Well, two things. I think the input industry is definitely innovating very fast. Product life cycles are changing fast, and the cost competitiveness of the input industry has definitely brought, I would say, economic significance to the farmer. You look at crops like apple. We're the fifth largest producer in the world, on our way perhaps to being the second or third largest in the next 7 to 8 years. Grapes, we are there at an unprecedented level in terms of global exports. Again, all of these changes at the farm level have been brought in because the complete package of practices from an agrochemical point of view, from a crop nutrition point of view, from a soil nutrition point of view, and sometimes from a seed treatment point of view, have innovated fast and have innovated in terms of bringing the cost of these products substantially lower than what a similar product would cost in Europe. So I think that has been a success. The second thing, definitely, I feel where we are succeeding well is ag tech. Yes. It is still in bits and parts, given the scale of agriculture. But I think ag tech, we are succeeding well. Things like parametric crop insurance. So even though we have insurance schemes from the government, parametric crop insurance completely works, is set up on historical data, works with a technological interface, and is delivered seamlessly to the farmer. So again, I think that kind of assurance to the farmer to have at least a backup in the worst case scenario is encouraging. I think from the corporate point of view, my personal view is corporate India is ready to play a market-based metric model. I think there is some there is some sort of a misinformation sometimes at the farm level because of inefficiencies in the system, because of multiple channels, middlemen. But I do believe corporate India today is ready to work on a market-based pricing model with the farming communities in a number of crops. And I think that will benefit the farmer directly. The inefficiency in the system, when you said small holdings, when you said farmer is consistently in debt, is the middleman. And that is where a combination of ag tech and corporate India is working through. So I would say these are three live examples that you can see throughout agriculture that is changing the real dynamic of this industry.
Indeed. I think that would be the perfect marriage of digital and green if ag tech flourishes. I'm waiting for first unicorn to come from India on ag tech. We still, the largest company I have seen is 500 crores, which is nothing in terms of the digital unicorns we have seen come from India. So I think we should all be waiting for that. Let me with that bring Pareshji in the conversation. One of the biggest challenge in solving for climate is the urbanization. While we all celebrate the growth, but the kind of energy needs we have as we support urbanization, the kind of water needs we have, the kind of waste management needs we have, if not done properly and with more planning and cost efficiency at its core, I think we are heading for big trouble ahead. You manage various of these services in big cities. Give us your perspective, how you have seen these solutions adopted, going to scale, and the unit economics of it. Please.
So, first of all, let me introduce my colleague, which is Cieu Group. We are a holding group based out of Sharjah. Question on how we manage waste generated in the cities and how we achieve the sustainability goal, how we make it more sustainable using the best of the technologies, innovation. So, just to give you an example, we have started in 2007 taking over Sharjah waste management as well as the regulation. And this transition has took about, let's say, 17, 15 years now. And when we started taking over the overall waste management in Sharjah, the recycling ratio was about 20%. Over the years, we have developed facilities, new technology, and we have built the first waste management plant in UAE, which is operational for last 3 years in Sharjah. And with systematic planning, using the best technology available, and investment which is sustainable. As of now, we have reached 93% waste diversion from the landfill, which is the highest in the world as of now. And it takes a lot of planning because in particularly UAE, probably when we are talking about the corridor, we are looking at India towards this side of the world. You have different culture, people, different practices, particularly in UAE. You see people from maybe 195 countries in the world living here. The biggest challenge is growing population compared to Europe or US. People are living there, they are born there, they are living there, they know what to do and how to do. Over here, you have a challenge to educate people what to do, how to do, and obviously they come from different culture and they have different practices at that time. And by the time they are aware of how to do and what to do, how to manage waste, or how to segregate, they are out and another people coming into the country. So the classic example of how policy, systematic investment plan, and use of best technology we can achieve what we were achieving in Sharjah. And it is not only in Sharjah, we are operating in Saudi Arabia, and Medina. So we have a project in Medina. We are currently developing the biggest project, new administrative capital of Egypt, which is a standalone project being developed from the scratch, and we are working with the local authority there to see that we develop best waste management facilities in that city with proper planning. Again, the solution, tech solutions we use are very important. So, for example, in our operation, we use AI cameras. So our vehicles have AI cameras capturing 360 view, and with right programming, we know exactly what are the things we need to pick up, the data we require, the objects we require, that are being directly into control room, and the control room is monitoring and taking required action if there is something which is of required scope or some KPI protocol, and also it gives the full visibility to the driver who is driving. It is improving safety, it is improving visibility for them, and there are multiple objectives are achieved. So again, it is only about waste management be great. And we can do things successfully.
Thank you, and thanks for highlighting this issue of behavioral change. You know, technology could take us that far, but you know, till humans really adopt and run with it, we struggle with the optimization and efficiency, especially on things which required rapid change and multiple cultures, habits, and age groups coming together. Let me go back to Shuvendu. You know, one of the things at CIU we are currently focusing is manufacturing of Cleantech components. So whatever that goes into a solar panel, to wind, to various Cleantech technologies our colleagues have talked about. From where you sit advising the government in Emirates, do you see a conversation where, you know, this could be an investment opportunity for India to receive funding and investment from the Middle East, from Israel, to manufacture at low cost in India for exports, but also for domestic consumption? With a fact there that 90% of these technologies or the components are being manufactured now in one country, and everybody has import dependency, and that's China. So is there an opportunity of this connect where India could manufacture this at high quality, cheap cost, with investments coming from the region? And I'll ask this to all the panelists.
So this
for
is a
brief
very,
responses.
very tough question, very tough question. And, you know, the answers are something are uttered, something are not uttered. So the point is, think about, you know, UAE's point of view, that, you know, if I need to buy equipment or manufacturing, I just need quality and the price. The point is, if any other country can manufacture that at a better quality and cheaper price, definitely why not? So that's a push. Definitely, when, you know, more and diversification always pays off. So it is, if there are multiple sources, we'll definitely, you know, anybody will diversify, not only UAE. So that's one side of this. Second side of this, whether UAE investments are there, I think that goes into the different ballgame, because if the investor sees a return, obviously they will invest, whether any country is over there. So I think these two are, the answer is like this.
Cost economics will
Yes.
trump whatever we want to achieve, because initially the manufacturing may be a little costly because we are starting from a base where we don't have all the wherewithal to compete with China.
See, things are not so easy. I'll tell you why. See, for me, when we plan the energy strategy over there, for me, one fill of electricity price rise, for me, it is roughly 18 billion AED a year economic cost. Right? So I can get into a diversification, but if it is it causes me the price rise of electricity, it will create not only economic loss, but it is a competitive advantage with the neighbors, because I am trying to invite the ICT economy more and more rather than manufacturing. And for ICT, bottom line is the energy cost. And for me, oil to GDP, you know, investment, this is IMF data, it is 0.25 for the oil, whereas 1.4 for the ICT. So economic multiplier is very high for the ICT, so I do the diversification, for which I need to make my energy cost is the below. And that is very sensitive, because this is entire economic diversification is connected to that, and for which energy price is a very biggest determinant of this. So that's the design side of this. On the investment side, yes, in fact, we are working on multiple investment in India, multiple. So that's different, because procurement of the equipment and the investment, these are the two different decision makers.
Yeah.
And very hardly they talk to each other.
True, true. Ambassador Yacov, from your perspective, do you see more investments or joint investment opportunities, JVs between Israel and India on Cleantech?
First of all, they exist without me predicting whether I can see or not, but I know it exists. It constitutes a great deal of our trade. And I think that sky is the limit. Sky is the limit because, first of all, India needs it, and India knows how to navigate its way in this stormy water. I mean, there's not enough water. By the way, a symbol of this unstable weather in Israel, in recent years, we have, on an annual basis, we have more precipitation than before. But the breakdown is horrible. So most of it is lost, and we need to operate our desalination system. But I wanted to say something after hearing what all the friends had to say, that with all due respect to technology, and technology can solve most of the problems that we are facing, we have a bigger problem, which is, it's not this podium or this forum to discuss, but I only want to highlight it and make people aware that as long as we don't change our political structures, a framework of operating, nothing will move. Because you mentioned I was for 2 years Israel's special envoy, and I spent a lot of time on international forums, mainly UN, but also the COP and so on. And what I see is that we are facing new challenges which threaten us all. Because even, or especially if you are a small island state in the Pacific, you know that your time is limited if this continues as it is.
Of course.
Okay? Now, but the political structures are the same. You go to the UN, they operate as though it was the Israeli-Arab conflict or any other conflict on earth.
You're talking to a UN diplomat here.
Yeah, but doesn't matter. But, you know, we are in a private forum.
I know, I'm just kidding.
And we can say everything, I know. So, and I used to tell them, they didn't like it. I said, look, you have the pressure groups like G77, we are like-minded. What does it help you? Everybody complains how poor I am. Okay, so do something about it, and we have to, it crosses the political frontiers, and we have to adjust ourselves to find new tools, political tools, to fight these challenges, because these challenges are here to stay, and we all depend on...
They're existential challenges.
Yeah, and one last word about, we talk about immigration. You have the problem in Europe, you have the problem in America. Did someone bother to think, and I know it for a fact, that partly the immigration from the Middle East and most of the immigration from Central America is due to the climate changes and droughts. So people are moving north not because they want to be Americans, because they cross Mexico, because they need the money so they can eat, so they can have a future.
You're right, Ambassador. Climate migration is a reality, and it's going to get worse. Quick reactions from you, final words, Junaid, and then I'll come to Pareshji as well. From your perspective, do you see more investments coming from the region to India on ag tech?
Well, I think it's cross collaboration. I think, specifically in ag tech, given India's scale and need, we will need to marry, globalization with localization. What perhaps works, in Israel, I think the scale, nature of it, we need to be adapted to India. I think more important thing to look at investments is that they should be sustainable. And eventually, they should lead to a longer-term solution that we are looking at. So I think it's more about collaboration. I think investments will follow. I think
Well said. Well said. Pareshji, are you planning to expand, invest in Indian cities for the same solutions?
Yes. So basically, we are looking for business opportunities in other countries, and definitely we are one of the places where we are exploring. We have already submitted a proposal for tenders in Indian cities. Recently, we had a visit to headquarters from the Environment Minister of Andhra Pradesh. And a couple of weeks ago, we had Indian Consul General visiting our office, and we met the consuls here as well. So definitely, we are exploring opportunities in India, and we have the projects over there. So definitely, the investment will be there in projects. And the best part is that how we replicate what we have achieved here, the best of technology and expectations
Indeed. Thank you very much. Time has been up for a while, but now it's,
I have one small point on the
Please.
climate change.
Right.
Actually, for energy planning, we have to do one statistics it hurt me. Earlier I was working, like women fertility. And in India, 1980, it was 5.86. Today is 1.9. In UAE, women fertility is 1.43. In Saudi, it was 2000, it was around 6. Today is 2.1. So when we are talking about why I follow this, because we invest something which is 25 years ahead. So we need to see how the rate of second derivative of energy growth. We can see that's country by country that is coming down. So which is basically this one. So A is that, we need to see that how entire infrastructure planning we have to do it. We are probably over-investing. So this is one. But second thing is that, which my message is that, we are all talking about, despite this, all talking about the climate change, but one thing is never talked about, that our consumption level is ever increasing. Just Europe, 450 million people, 24% of the global apparel consumption, and after COVID, the population is decreasing, but the consumption is growing.
indeed.
The point is that per kg, 19 kg per person per year, that is, 20 into 450, 900 million per year of apparel consumptions, etc. So we are talking about everything, but if I reduce the 10% consumption, the impact of CO2 on that
Indeed,
is indeed huge.
Indeed. I would be remiss if I don't mention Honorable Prime Minister's LIFE mission, which in fact emphasizes the sustainable consumption point. If we keep consuming with the pace we are, there is no end to the destruction we're going to cause to ourselves. With that, colleagues, you see we can talk for hours and hours and still be very, very efficient and productive and insightful. But we need to close this panel. I'm sure you will pick up their brains in offline chats. Let me invite you to give a round of applause to the panelists. And Leish, over to you.
We request Mr. Suresh Kumar if you can come forward and help us in felicitating our distinguished panelists. Mr. Suresh Kumar is the latest chairman of Ibpc.